you're jolted awake. The clock reads exactly 3 a.m. The house is completely silent until you hear it. 3 slow, deliberate knocks coming from just down the hall. Across the country, thousands of people report experiencing this exact scenario. It's a localized piece of folklore known as the midnight visitor, usually described as a young girl knocking late at night, asking to be let in. The accounts are remarkably consistent. Witnesses describe a sudden, biting drop in room temperature, an intense feeling of physical isolation, and the suffocating sensation of an unseen presence standing right outside their bedroom door. With so many identical reports, we have to ask, what exactly is standing in that hallway? Is there an actual entity wandering our suburbs in the middle of the night, or is there a flaw in how human beings perceive reality in the dark? The staying power of this legend relies on a very specific physical reality. It targets us at the exact moment we are most biologically defenseless, stripped of our waking armor. Looking back at early American colonial records, towns frequently reported the witching hour, blaming wandering spirits for strange knocking sounds and sudden waves of anxiety. Today, acoustic physicists point to a much quieter culprit: infrasound. These are extremely low-frequency vibrations generated by heavy winds or distant industrial machinery. They sit below 20 Hz, completely inaudible to the human ear. But even if you can't hear infrasound, your body feels it. When exposed to these low-frequency acoustic waves, the nervous system reacts severely, triggering unexplainable surges of deep sorrow, feelings of inescapable dread, and overwhelming physical paranoia. This shows what happens to a house's physical structure in the middle of the night. A rapid external temperature drop causes wooden framing to contract, creating percussive snapping sounds. Swimming in infrasound-induced anxiety, your heightened nervous system misinterprets the random thermal contraction of timber snapping 3 times in a row as a deliberate rhythmic knock. The phantom entity creeping down the hall is actually an architectural illusion. It's a trick of physics, triggered by an acoustic anomaly, and timed perfectly to the coldest stretch of the night. But the physical environment is only half the equation. To figure out why the midnight visitor universally strikes right around 3 a.m., we must look inward at the human body. This graph tracks a typical adult sleep cycle. Notice the sharp dip around 3 o'clock, the absolute deepest phase of REM sleep. Being violently pulled from this cycle by sudden noise delivers a massive physiological shock, forcing a system failure known as a hypnagogic hallucination. During a hypnagogic state, your consciousness is trapped between dreaming and waking. Your eyes are open, but your brain is still actively projecting vivid dream imagery directly into your real-world environment. The disoriented mind is suddenly forced to process conflicting data. It tries to synthesize the abrupt wakefulness, the snapping house joints, and that lingering heavy dread from the infrasound into one single logical narrative. To make sense of this sensory chaos, the brain generates an avatar. It projects an intruder, a girl at the door, or a shadowy figure, simply to give you a rational source for the overwhelming physical fear you're experiencing. This entity is an internal projection, a biological attempt to give the body's raw physical fear a recognizable face. The midnight visitor is the perfect storm of human vulnerability. It exists at the precise intersection of dropping nighttime temperatures, acoustic vibrations, and ruptured REM sleep. These mechanics reveal a shared recurring glitch hardwired into the human nervous system. We have built modern homes and conquered the night with electricity, but beneath it all, our ancient brains are still perfectly capable of manufacturing terrifying threats out of empty shadows. Understanding the science of thermal contraction and hypnagogia is incredibly comforting when the sun is up. But when you inevitably jolt awake at 3 a.m. to the sound of 3 slow knocks down the hall,